As we march through the valley of life, we will crush evil, we will beat evil, we will smash evil and keep it moving. No such thing as fear when we have experienced many unexplainable things on this journey. And we know that there is a spiritual positive force out there. And how do we know this? Because our ancestors let us know. If a lot of us have done our history and studying, it's all how we are as an individual, and when we call down protection and get into our meditation and or deep prayer, I always say one soul has to be cleansed. What's in that psyche, as cleansed as it can possibly be, in one's opinion, that's the only way to connect with that spiritual world is something one wants to talk about. Now, I don't want to come off like I'm, this super, I've learned a lot, as many of us, our generals out here, salute, like I'm this super deep spiritual person, because Brother EBXCARES is learning too. But it's wonderful, the things we do learn on this journey, as brother, sister, family, younger or older. That's why I will always and forever honor thy ancestors, brother and sister, who fought through tooth and nail, man, to just be human and just live life and have peace. Because that's what the goal is. Because if one have peace deep within, everything righteous will follow, with the challenges and the layers and the lessons and staying aware and all those great things that build a great warrior on this walk. That's why when we come into a truth, the real truth, we we go beyond religion. As I said, I don't claim religion. I'm not a Christian, none of that. But I'm not against it either, because I come up through it. But we change narratives, not change. I'm talking about righteously change. We walk through the valley of life, and we crush evil. We bury evil. Thou shalt not see no evil. Make evil afraid of us. We flip it around. Got to be strong, not no soft floating on no cloud thing. And it's not an ego thing. It's having no doubt and being fierce in one's meditation and or deep prayer. Because you've heard me do 1,000,000 times, calling down great protection from that great divine for ourselves and from ourselves. And I say that consistently, even when I'm not speaking. Because, again, when we do a little reflection as generals, those things that just happen in our life that we can't explain, that's that great, great divine, Mama Nature, and that power of that universe. When we embrace it, some powerful things will come about. And it's not about being this invincible person, this super deep individual. It's just being aware and having our senses become heightened, so we can prevent things from coming down the road. So we can come into our golden years smiling, and also celebrate the impact we give those warriors along the way. It could be young warriors or older warriors. And that's what keeps us whole. When we got our circle locked tight, those who are, seeking to do right in their life and have peace, that may not have a lot of resources, but have the one greatest resource that one could ever have is a golden heart, a righteous heart, a warrior heart, know when to use our empathy and know when to kind of back it up a little bit. It's unfortunate, but that's a reality, and it's good to be humble. It's good to be, a good brother, a sister, but not naive, staying aware, and then focusing on our mental health. Always got to focus on ourselves. It's good to help others and reach out, but we can't help others if we're not able to help ourselves. So that's why we do things like this and other things, watch our health and, speak positive affirmations into our soul, be consistent on practicing positive things. And we keep seeking and keep reaching and keep doing things that great divine Mother Nature has put in our heart to do, which is good things that help us in the long run. Ounce of prevention, brothers and sisters, is a wonderful thing. And connecting with that spiritual world can definitely help. When we understand it, overstand it, and understand it, when we know what it is and not looking at it as just like some kind of fad, no, a way of life. Because when we step into that deep spiritual world, a lot of things can come about. I always like to use the example of looking up a word, and we look up the definition of it. And then when we look it up, there's other things in that definition, it leads to something else. And that's what makes learning fun, even through the challenges and the ways and sways of the world, the realities, don't get lost in no bubble. That's kind of mostly for me, because I'm not one that talks a lot, comment a lot, and I love solitude. I love it, always have. But I do know the importance of reaching out. But maintaining our mental health, our well-being is most important of all, especially of those who do have a leader spirit. Heroes have to take care of themselves too, so to speak. Those who have that heroic ability and just not swayed by toxic person, place, thing, things of the world. As I said in a podcast I did not too long ago, we are surrounded by discouragement. So one have to be on fire and encourage oneself, And again, if we're healthy with no handicaps and we're a healthy human being, brother, sister, do whatever it takes to keep that strong, firm peace. Not no soft, nothing against religion now, but not no soft on a cloud, naive. No, we got to be fierce on this walk, because when we're fierce and focused, and again, it's not tough, not being no gangster, but when one is truly focused and not playing, we'll come into that deep spiritual world, and we'll be able to detect things before they even get near us. That is possible, because it comes through what I always say: dreams, synchronicities, and deja vu. Those are all glimpses into the future. But how will we know these things? How will we know about that spiritual world when we're not distracted, taking time to ourselves, shut out the noise? And it's not about caring about things or family or nothing, but keeping oneself whole, because everywhere we go, there we are, So great divine can't put us on this path if we're not healthy. So we got to make sure we're right, so we can be an examples for those that we are righteously influenced via children, ourselves, family. Just put out that great vibration. And those who don't want to learn, just let life teach them. That plain, cut and dry, plain simple. Those who are rotten to the core and don't want to learn, and they're aware and they're healthy, let life teach them and keep it moving, because we can't let them sever that connection to that spiritual world, because it truly is a gift and somewhat of a luxury, knowing deep things and learning stuff, especially when you've done it without education and you just learned on life alone and you come out on the bright side of it. It's beautiful, but it always comes down to how we are in that core as brother and sister, and choices one is making. And before I keep going, thank those for coming in to another edition of EBX Discussion. Again, I want those who are listening, we're going to change that narrative that's in that, the old Bible, thou shalt walk through the valley of life, crush evil, bash evil, dismiss evil, and keep it moving on this journey. Cut and dry, again, no floating on the cloud type. No, we warriors out here, especially when we are truly connected to that spiritual world. And the reason why I say we, not floating on no cloud, because the great divine Mother Nature is something that's very, very powerful. It's not no small little thing. It's something that can wipe us all out. I don't think, just my opinion, some of us don't think about it like that. That's how I look at that great divine. That's why I got a picture of the earth on the banner. And again, the earth is very, very small. It's not that big, so one has to do their research and really see. And just in theory, this could be an opinion or a theory, but I have kind of researched stuff in the past. There are other worlds out there that's 10 times bigger than the earth, but if you're not connected to that spiritual world and you're caught up in the superficial distraction part of the world, you won't see the deeper things and the greater things that are out there, that we can attach to. It's parts of our brain we can damn near go our whole life and never tap into, and a lot of historians and a lot of people have shown us that we can tap into that powerful part of our brain and use every fiber in every part of our body, not just parts of it. It's a skill for everyone, but that great divine, Mother Nature, leaves it up to us to find out what that skill is. It could be a big purpose, small purpose, and that can be the distraction, looking for something big. And I used to say this: we can't see what's beyond if we got something toxic before us stopping us, so, and like that song T.I. made, big things popping, little things will stop it. So that's the only way to connect, in one's opinion now, because I don't want to make like I know everything there is about being spiritual, but it's wonderful the things we learn, and we learn what we can, and we just stay focused and keep being led by that divine spirit and that wonderful Mama Nature, and of course I'm gonna have a hip hop break. I love hip hop. You always hear me play hip hop. And there will be a father and son discussion soon. Salute to my biological children and my God children and those in my circle and family. May that great divine protect them, from anything. Don't let nothing come near them. That's how we got to treat that realm. I do that. But I'm going to let Lord Lamont kind of sort some things out in his life. And I got some things I'm kind of, nothing bad or nothing like that. Just, just kind of keep me right, so I can pass on good energy to others. Got to take care of myself too. That's a reality. We got to take care of ourselves. Our leaders and teachers out here, those who listen to those who have platforms or maybe are speaking, we can't take them for granted, and the righteous brothers and sisters that do speak and putting it down in the communities, we can't take them for granted. Be thankful for the warriors and the lights out there that's doing the damn thing, beyond the platform. As I have learned, as many of us should learn, don't take things like that for granted, because sometimes a person can be feeling a certain way, and that's the good part of social media. We could run across something and somebody will say something, or we'll see a kind act or something and just lift our whole spirits. And that's when energy is real. We don't take it for granted, and we transmit it into something beautiful. And that, like us, life is like a full circle. It always comes back around. So keep putting out good energy, and it will come back around. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Just keep doing it. I don't care how challenging things look or may seem. And that's the message to brother, sister, family. Keep doing what you've been doing. If you're not hurting nobody and you're in your right, keep forging forward and keep passing out that good energy if you are. And if you're just doing right, just keep doing right. Wherever we are in our part of the world, how I do it. That righteous ripple effect, protect that realm, because the same things I want for me, I want for my family, brothers and sisters in the world and online, my children, got to be in the business of building warriors, even when we're by ourselves in our meditative, deep prayer. Keep those in our spiritual, deep prayer, protection. You hear me say that a lot, and manifest it, and don't ask questions or nothing, and don't ask the great divine for a lot of things. Just say thank you, ask for protection, and do what we do. And the great divine will do the rest, as well as Mother Nature in that universe. All right, now, I always say reading is good, so let's sharpen our cognitive functions and let's speak on some more. Let's go even deeper in connecting with that spiritual world. All right, let's go. Connection, to spirituality in that spiritual world can bring about numerous benefits, including enhanced inner peace. But we got to be consistent, got to practice it every day. And you got to get into a place where it's not too much noise. That's why I got this on my banner. Wanted to bring those with me. Let's ride over the clouds. Let's, over the beautiful mountains and that beautiful water. And I'm going to get into some dreams. I'm going to segue into that. And I actually got a summary that I want to read about dreams. And I know it's many signs, zodiac. I don't really get into the zodiac signs, but I did come across something that was pretty interesting. And there's a lot of birthdays in this month. And July is the month of Cancer. And Cancers dream about water a lot. Well, I do, because I'm a Cancer. I dream about water a lot. And I pay attention to my dreams. And in my opinion and or theory, I think that's another way to connect or see into that spiritual world. So let's continue. Benefits including enhanced inner peace, reduced stress, which is so important. Because that's the only way to see into that deeper world too. Can be bogged down with stress, okay. And a deeper sense of purpose and meaning in life. This connection can also foster stronger relationships, improve mental and physical health, which is so important, and provide a sense of belonging and connection to something larger than oneself. Like I said, the earth is so very small, it's big to us, but I'm telling you, it's like a pebble. It's so small. I'm telling you, that's why the great divine, that's why I say those who think they rule the world or trying to rule the world or call themselves ruling the world, great divine and mother nature just sat back and laugh. It's funny, things that people who think they're ruling something, really not ruling shit. All right, let's go. Enhanced mental well-being. Spirituality, when we know what it is and we've learned it, and we're not just thinking of it as a fad, when we take it serious, all right, spirituality can be a powerful tool for managing stress, as I said earlier, anxiety and depression. Practices, something we have to do on a regular every day, like meditation and or deep prayer, as I always say, and mindfulness can promote relaxation, emotional regulation, and a more positive outlook. And as I said on the podcast I did not too long ago, optimism. I use optimism in everything, even in the most challenging times. I always somehow find optimism in it, and it's good for our immune system. Now, it don't mean that we soft or nothing like that, or we let things run over us. No, when one knows their self-worth, a lot of things won't sway us. And when we're silent sometimes in things, or we back up and take those meditative moments, we can see things for what they are, and we don't keep getting lost in the woulda, coulda, shoulda syndrome. Now, many of us have experienced that, so no more woulda, coulda, shouldas. We in the business of prevention. Ounce of prevention is worth what? Man, a big ass pound of cure. Real talk. All right, now I want to segue into dreams and paying attention to our dreams. I always say, when we have dreams, look them up, and when we look them up, the dreams, what we're seeing in the dream doesn't always mean what we're dreaming, if that make any sense. That's why I like to look it up, kind of break it down, get an idea of our dreams. Because again, in one's opinion and or theory, it's a glimpse into the future. All right. Now, I don't know, I can't really speak for all cancers, because individuals are different nationalities and stuff like that. But I'm sure a lot of us have the similar characteristics. Now, I just thought this was interesting, and this could be an opinion, because I don't get in too much of the zodiac signs. I don't get into it too deep, but I do find it kind of interesting, and I do have dreams a lot. And I'll put in the end screen another video or podcast I spoke on dreams, and I can't remember the title exactly, but I'll put it in the end screen, as well as and I'll put a father and son discussion in the end screen also. All right, now my leaders and teachers with a student spirit, let's read a little bit about the Cancers having dreams. All right, let's go. I thought it was interesting. All right, Cancers as a zodiac sign ruled by the water element, and I have a lot of dreams about water. If you notice, on most of my banners, if it's either in the sky over buildings or it's water in it, like on one's banner right now. And I'm always having dreams about water. Always have, and I still do sometimes. It's been a little while, but it's been recent. All right, Cancers as a zodiac sign ruled by the water element are naturally drawn to the influence and influenced by water. Are naturally drawn to and influenced by water, which often manifest in their dreams. Water in astrology symbolizes emotions, intuition, and subconscious mind. Okay, let's read that again. I kind of fumbled. Okay. Water, which often manifests in their dreams. Water in astrology symbolizes emotions, intuition, and the subconscious mind, all of which are deeply connected to the Cancer personality. Therefore, dreaming about water can be a reflection of their emotional depth, DEPTH, sensitivity, and intuitive nature. And many of us have this. That's why I say I don't get into the whole zodiac sign, because a lot of us have this, this ability. A lot of us might dream about water and not even Cancers. But I've spoke on this before, and there's a deeper meaning behind dreaming about water. And I do remember looking up another definition about water, and it did say in there, one who dreams about water a lot have a deep concern and feeling for family, and a deep subconscious protection for family. Because you always hear me, as I said in the past, I always speak on having a family spirit even when we're not around. And again, when we do however we pray or meditate, because some people are in religion, and there's different ways of getting to that deep meditative space or deep prayer. But again, as I like to say, as maybe advice, don't ask for a lot of things, and don't just think about ourselves. When we get into our deep prayer, think of everyone. That's how we keep that realm powerful. And actually, again, in one's opinion and or theory, that's how things can come to us when we don't just do it for ourselves and don't ask for a lot of things. Again, just say thank you and call down great protection, and everything else will come. Great Divine knows what we need, so we don't have to ask for a lot of things. And that's, to me, that's a plane flying overhead. They're having an air show, so if you hear that, forgive me. But that's an air show we're having in the old mill town, because summertime, a lot of events going on. So forgive me for that. But as one said, as I was saying, Great Divine knows what we need. That divine spirit and Mother Nature has known us since birth, know the battles we are going to go through or been through, and know what state of being we are in. So we don't have to ask for a lot of things. Great Divine knows what we need, and I always say, Great Divine give us what we need, and the righteous ones will come. But Great Divine knows us better than we know ourselves. So that's why we have to be patient and be strategic, analyze things, and just do what's right as we can in our space. Even if we're not this deep spiritual person, and we don't know a lot about that spiritual world. All I can tell you is keep seeking right, keep doing right. I'm telling you, divine things will come. When we just write in our heart, that's automatic. Again, Great Divine knows us better than we know ourselves. It knows what we need, so we don't have to ask for a lot of things. But of course, we don't sit on our butts. We put in the action, so that energy can manifest, because energy is real. A lot of us that are connected to that spiritual world, we know that to be true, because especially melanated brothers and sisters, we can sense things around each other, whether we are aware of it, can understand it, or don't. But be thankful if you can understand, a spiritual intuition and being able to sense things. That's a wonderful gift to have. It really is. I don't take it for granted. And sometimes it can save us in situations, when we do have that sharp intuition. But we have to have right in our heart. We can't have a lot of distractions in our psyche, like traffic. We got to watch what goes in, what goes out. Remember those 7 senses: mind, body, and soul, see, hear, and feel, and that wonderful, wonderful psyche. And, it can take a long time to keep oneself centered, and blocking out things, and finally getting to a state of self-awareness and self-worth, because you have to have self-worth. and in my opinion, in order to really connect with that spiritual world, you can't want what the world wants as far as trends and all that kind of stuff. Just walk our own path, help those that we can help, because we never forget, a lot of us have had help too along the way, but we'll learn our empathic abilities. We'll know who to issue out our empathy to and who not. We don't have to worry about being paranoid, because again, when we're not asking for a lot of things and we're not blinded by ignorance and none of that stuff, nothing can stop a divine warrior, brother or sister, family that's finally, emphasis on finally connected to that spiritual world, because it's beautiful. It really is. But it takes work, it takes consistency, it takes staying in a learning state, and don't become too deeply spiritual where we become stupid and nothing like that. And just be humble that we have come across some righteous spiritual knowledge. Be thankful, you be grateful, and use it for good, because this journey be all for nothing, especially if we're up in age. Everything we did will be all for nothing. Stay away from toxicity. It's a must. Man, as we march through the valley of life, we will crush evil, we will beat evil and defeat evil and keep it moving as generals, brother, sister, family. All right. Now, I want to get to this hip hop break. I always have a hip hop break, because as you hear me say 1,000 times, I love hip hop. And I just uploaded a song here recently called, let me see, what was it called? I'm trying to think here. Just Creativity. It's a song called Creativity I uploaded. And I actually freestyled it. And, I never act like, come off like I'm this best rapper, and I can, but as I told my son, Lord Lamont, salute. And he's good at music too. He's creative too. Like I said, I'm gonna give him time to kind of get some things together, as well as oneself. And nothing bad or nothing like that. There's realities out here, so that's why I don't be online a lot. And sometimes I'm meditating and thinking, or sometimes I'm spending time with some of my family. I got a big family, but I try to make sure I do spend time with my son Ethan, and just had a birthday recently, and I'm just thankful to be here. That next level, 56, is wonderful, because those are my family, and those that we held dear, may they rest in peace and in power. Those are my family, those who's listening, family, those who were young, didn't even get to live a full life, and just be thankful that we are here today, and we alive and breathing. Man, it's a chance to, change, to conquer another day, another year, and another decade. Man, for real. All right, so the first song is going to be The Truth, When the Truth Comes for You or Us. What are we going to do? Because the truth comes for all of us. It just depends on who we are as an individual. And this song is for those who may not have heard it, and so I'm replaying it, but it has an African feel to it, and salute my African brothers over there in Mama Africa that's doing their thing, those who are standing upright and calling down protection for my African brothers over in Africa that may be having some kind of challenge, and brothers and sisters all over the world. May that great divine just come in their life, help them to see, that wonderful power that's deep in thee. That's how we do it. We got to keep that round strong. A global divine protection. All right. I'll be back after this. Truth comes.
Wake up music. Brothers and sisters, what you gonna do when the truth come for you? Divine within, we won't lose. My brothers and sisters and me too. What we gonna do when the truth come for you? You. Divine within, and we won't lose. Brothers and sisters and me too. I'ma stay firm on this song, doing things, to make us strong. I'ma stick to that divine zone. We never, ever alone. I got spirit, deep within. In this life is how we win. what she said. That's why she here, cause she had a right head. Yeah, that divine is where we should be led and never be wrong. And this is why I'm here. We got no time, avoid no fear, and fuck the past and no tears. I'm standing so strong for my family, making sure in this life that we can see. I'm standing on this ground, and I'm thankful I'm around with this power and positive sound.
Right.
You know what though? Real talk.
What you gonna do when the truth come for you?
You, brothers and sisters,
And me too.
yeah. If we divine within, then we won't lose. Yeah. What you gonna do
When the truth come for you.
Yeah, stay strong, got the vine in my bones, yeah. I stand here, it's the reason why I'm on this song. Never will stop on this MIC, cause I got that light that's so deep in thee. I'm thinking that divine for making E. For my children and family, I float like a wave when I'm on this music. In this life, that's how I make it through it. Man, I can't stop, I just gotta do it. Build them skills, try to be real. I keep that love, and we stay sealed. Yeah, watch out, yeah, for the doom. Good things coming, and it's coming soon. But also, man, we coming to the truth. Now stay on point, do what we gotta do. You know what though?
Yeah.
Gotta be ready.
Cause what you gonna do when the truth come for you?
Yeah. Let's stay divine within.
And we won't lose.
Lose.
Brothers and sisters, and me too.
Yeah. What you gonna do when the truth come for you? Brothers and sisters, and me too.
Real talk, man. Me too. You notice I said me too. So again, we out here doing foul things and call ourselves being righteous. Not that I'm better than nobody. I have challenges too, but the great divine knows what's in our heart. I used to say this too. No matter what we hide inside, that great divine, Mother Nature, and that universe will draw it out sooner or later. And there is examples all around us. We can kind of use some celebs as examples. Those who are ignorant on social media, all the things that are toxic, can't connect to that spiritual world if we got toxicity within. And, it's just, it's just everything that we put into this life, everything we do will be all for nothing, And again, it's not about having no platform. It's just a place of expression. So don't take our voice for granted. Don't take our lives for granted, our families, ourselves. I'm telling you, we'll flourish through this so-called valley. That's why I say the valley of life. We changing that damn narrative. We got some strong brothers and sisters out here in our families, in the world, and online. That's where I'm focusing one's power on. Not this other crap out here in this media and some of this news. And no, we got to have righteous tunnel vision right through to the connection of that spiritual world. And that's when a whole new world will open up. But to each individual is different. We hear that. I know it's kind of cliche, but that saying we hear, that saying, or that cliche that we hear, many are called, what is it? Many are called, but few are chosen. Again, you can't lose. Like I say, it's good to know things about spirituality and not making it no fad. I mean, really know what it is and experience spiritual things that can happen in our lives, beyond religion. Because again, just my opinion, religion ain't nothing but a band-aid. That, to me, in my opinion now. But when you really step into that God spirit deep within, and we tap into that self-worth, man, I'm telling you, nothing can stop us mentally, physically, as we all say. Spiritually, it's a wonderful place to be. It's beautiful. We can finally breathe. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. But it takes staying aware, staying on point. And another thing I like to add, when things are somewhat, going good as they can possibly go, because I don't want to come off like, I don't have challenges. But when things are going good, that's when we really hold up that protection. That's when we really be aware, because sometimes things can catch us off guard when things are going good, and things that catch us unexpectedly. Again, not in a paranoid state, just expecting the unexpected. And that's how we keep things maintaining and going, and going good. We still stay aware. We still stay thankful. All the things we do if we are going through a challenge to get to a space where we are doing great, but we keep doing things to maintain our mental health and our well-being so we can stay doing good. And again, and connect with our realm, those we care about in our circle. Vibration is energy is real, as I said. So even when things are going good, still say thank you, great divine, and keep us, our families, ourselves prospering, and keep us healthy. Keep asking those things, Don't shriek back when things are going good, because that's when the old quotation marks, the old so-called devil, I try to step in when things are going good. So we got to stay on point and stay aware. Be almost like a shadow boxer. You know what I'm saying? Dodging and slipping everything. Coming up underneath, ducking away, side to side. Dodge all toxicity, and learn to control master one's emotions. We control us. Those who are toxic, unless they touch us physically, let them do what they do. Let life teach them. Don't let toxic person, place, or thing draw us in to their toxicity, because many of us that are called by that great divine, we have a mission, and we have a mission here on this planet before we leave. And we can't let small-minded people who don't want to learn, who are healthy, whether male or female, brother or sister, stop us, and that could be anybody. We have good family, and then we have some that maybe need some learning. I put it like that. So if we have fought to get to a place of peace where we are, we let nothing stop that, because there were a lot of us had times where, as brothers and sisters, no one was there to help us. And we had to pull ourselves out, as well as those we did have help us. But some of us have had times in our lives where we had to do everything on our own. And we finally struggled and fought and cried and blood, sweat, and tears, and finally got to a place of peace. So as brother and sister and family, don't you dare let nobody stop you from having that inner peace. And I'm going to segue into that when I come back after this song. Inner peace is kind of in my spirit. I want to speak on it a little bit, and maybe stress and a deeper sense of purpose and all those wonderful things. So we're going to segue into that, and of course, it all has to do with connecting with that spiritual world. But there's so many things we have to do to stay connected to it, because it was a really hard challenge. And I have to speak for myself. I can't speak for everybody. A hard challenge for some of us to get to a space like this, to even be aware, So be thankful if one is aware as brother, sister, family, and are connected to that spiritual world. All right, and I'll be back after this. And this song is called Stand Up Right. And I played this before, but this is for those who may have not heard it. And this is for brother, sister, family. Stand up right wherever we are, the best way we can. Great divine will do the rest. Be right back.
Yeah. Wake up music. Yeah. My brothers, we gotta stand up right. Yeah. And never go out without a fight. Hey, sisters gotta stand up right. Yeah. And never go out without a fight. Brothers gotta stand up right. Yeah. And never go out without a fight. Hey, and sisters gotta stand up right. And never go out without a fight. And I do what I gotta do. And I gotta kick this truth. I want us to win and never ever lose. Never be confused and be an intelligent brother and sister and never no fool. And to watch our children and protect our family. And we try our best or do our best to stay free. Deep within is the only way to win. And yeah, I don't care about toxic shit or no sin. I don't get lost up in this shit. And I just keep this beautiful gift. And I just try my best to lift us up and always be uplifted. In our soul is how one stay strong. How stay up in these songs. And I protect a Lord of mine in his own. My children and all of our families. Gotta watch, there's so much going on out here in these streets. Let's go. My brothers gotta stand up right. Yeah. and never go out without a fight. Hey, sisters gotta stand upright, and never go out without a fight. And I've been through some things, and this is why I sang. I keep on doing this, and I make your ears ring with nothing but true power in this life, and I crush that devil every hour. I've been through the fire, that divine I admire. I sing in these songs to lift our souls higher, and yes, some new things, and never be no lame, and stay smart, brothers and sisters, never be no lame, and don't go insane. Brothers gotta stand upright, and never go out without a fight. Hey, sisters gotta stand upright, and never go out without a fight.
Real talk, man. Brothers got to stand upright, and sisters too. And guess what? That's for me too. I don't never leave myself out. Thank that great divine if it gives us a sense of humbleness, but not a stupid humble. And again, thank the current subscriber and new subscriber, anybody that view that's flowing with the brother as we look at the beautiful mountains and the beautiful water. That's why I broke that down about dreams. Again, if you have dreams, look them up. You'd be amazed. And that's it. Again, there's probably a million ways to connect to that spiritual world, but that's definitely one way. And paying attention to synchronicities and stuff like that. And you can't think things are weird, and be amazed. Things will begin to kind of align themselves. That's why I said when things are going good, that's when we really get into our deep prayer and or meditation. That's how we keep them boundaries up. Now, when I say boundaries, not against those we care about or we love. I'm talking about just things from social media. Have it where all toxicity just bounce off. You know what I mean? And it becomes effortless over time when one pays attention to that spiritual world. Sometimes we can be connected and don't even know it. But once we do know, again, pay attention to synchronicities, even spiritual numbers. Like I said, my spiritual number is 7, but that's not the only number I see. I see other numbers like 444, 111, and I asked one of my kids if they what number they see, and they said 2, and I looked that up, and it's a sign of an angel, deeper intuition. So I'm telling you, it's wonderful how we start seeking knowledge and things that can better ourselves and good for our well-being. Man, the knowledge never stops. You just learn more and more amazing things. You be like, wow. It's just wonderful. Man, as I heard the great Professor Griff said, learning is fun to the mental. Of course, we go through the uncomfortable things in our, that's in our subconscious and deal with our issues and stuff like that. We got to do that. And then get to that good part of us. Because again, knowing oneself and connecting to that deep spiritual world doesn't always have to be this deep spiritual thing or this traumatic thing. It can be amazing learning about oneself. And another way, again, there's a million ways to connect to that spiritual world. I said one is dreams, synchronicities, deja vu. But another way is studying human nature. Now, I like to reiterate, not just to for others, of course, to study our intuition about others, but it's a good way to learn about ourselves too. That's how we can kind of learn our own behaviors. Because once we got our own behaviors in check, we off and running. Spiritual world is right around the corner. Once we understand it, and not coming at it as trying to be this, this deep spiritual person, and really learn it and embrace it and incorporate it into our lives, and to help us to be creative. We tap into a different way of disciplining our children. Of course, I don't like, spanking, but sometimes you do got to kind of, jilt our children just to jerk them into reality. But, just don't let our egos get involved. Kids going to do what they do, but just let them know that we care right off the bat. Because as I like to say, in my opinion, when children know we care, they will respect us in the end, no matter what they go through. Because, again, some children, I would say maybe from 7 to 8, maybe 5 to 10, somewhere in that age frame, they don't know how to deal with their emotions and all that kind of stuff. So be thankful for parents, guardians, those who are righteous and good in their heart that guide them in the right direction, because there are those in certain parts of the world that are guiding children in the right direction by example and maybe a positive word. But it's always best by action, real talk. And again, none of us are perfect. Sometimes I might fumble along the way, but if we got a fierce, loving warrior spirit deep within our soul, we're going to be fine, even through the challenges, because many of us have blazed through fire. So if we blaze through all those fires we have came through, what make these challenges any different? We just come up with a different way, a different solution. Again, those who have a warrior divine spirit, we always find a way. And I'm talking about some righteous. Don't let nothing stop that inner peace that we have gotten to. The inner peace, man, it's really something that can't be explained. It's something that we feel within. And again, when we've been through a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, we're not going to let nothing stop our peace and stop us from sharing it to others. Don't let life make us bitter as brother and sister wherever we are in our part of the world. Let nothing take our joy, take our peace within. Again, those who are miserable, whether they're in high status, low status, and they don't want to get it together, and they're healthy, nothing wrong with them. Let life teach them. We got no time for nonsense and bull, especially when we got children, family, significant other, real talk. So thank those for coming in to another edition of EBX Discussion. And remember, folks, I'm learning too. I went through a lot of stages, as many of us, to get to this point, but the levels never run out. Remember, they don't run out until we transition. So let's come in to our golden years gracefully, on fire, and then taught many warriors and built many generals along the way. If you built generals along the way, pat yourself on the back. And again, it's not about having no platform or being in this deep spiritual space. It's just, helping someone in our little space we in. That's a vibration going out to that divine and mama nature. What we put out is definitely what we get back. As my grandmother used to say, rest in peace and in power. Keep on living. We'll find out what we put out. Real talk. So there's no getting around gravity, brothers and sisters. That's, as I said a little while ago. That's why the great divine and Mother Nature laughs at those who think that they're in power or they're ruling something. Again, folks, the earth is very, very small. So people fighting over platforms and beefing and all this shit is so fucking ridiculous, and it's stupid, because none of us run shit at the end of the day. Great divine, Mama Nature runs all this shit. And that right there, if we know that in our heart, that's how we know we connected to that spiritual world. Salute.